Will Lee from our sister campus at Camden, who will talk about his beautiful approach to proving the famous Lemma conjecture about the Ramanujan tau function. We're going to take Will out for dinner at the usual place, 6:45 Evelyn's. If you'd like to join us, you're most welcome, but please let me know immediately after the talk.
Thank you. I will just spend 2 minutes to say the background of Ramanujan's tau function. If you have a normalized Eisenstein series, then the function it doesn't move.
What's the problem?
Oh, I gotta use this.
Yeah,
Not this.
I don't know. It seems to be working still.
Hey, can you make it not pink?
Was that
Can you unpink it?
It's just the cable.
And you other way.
Just touch the cable.
Yeah.
Again,
What's that?
again, close.
No, that's good. Oh.
Sorry, I need help.
Wait, what's the problem?
Something to copy it up. Then how do I go to the next page? Why?
Oh, I see. I see.
Keep say freezing. Oh, okay. So I put this one?
Yeah, I guess we can just move.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so the, I'm sorry. So the, here is a normalized Eisenstein series. And if you look at the, next page, I don't know. There's a elliptic curve, and then you compute the discriminant, which is easy to compute. Discriminant turned out to be this guy. And then the discriminant, this is a Jacobi theorem. And then Ramanujan said the tau function comes from right-hand side, namely that QC to the IC and then upper half plane. So you kill off a singularity at infinity. And then this guy is a the uniformly convergent series. Therefore, if you write it as an infinite series, you have tau of Q of n times something. But since you killed off a singularity at infinity, so you start of n equal 1 to infinity. And then the coefficient is this guy is the well-known famous Ramanujan's tau function. And I'm not going to use this guy anymore, so what do I do? So since
Press the button up and then.
so that's the all right. So the definition is a Q of pi over 1 minus Q to the n of n equal 1 to infinity. So this one you can write down as a analytic function in Q, and then coefficient of Q to the n is a tau of n, and then it's equal to 1. So the Lemma's conjecture, so he has published a series of papers around the late 1940s, and then he computed at first and 1 through 350 then. So this conjecture say tau of n is not 0. Okay. So how am I going to prove it? Well, this identity, you can either find it from Koblitz book or Apostles' book. This identity is given there. So indeed, the tau of n is given by 65 over the 752 over sigma of 11n plus 691 over 752 sigma 5 over n minus 691 over 3 summation of j of sigma p minus j n minus j. So this guy is annoying, so if you chase a 3, then 3 of tau n, and I'm going to write this term times 3 as a of n minus b of, where a of n is given by 65 over 75. This guy should be 252. I might make a mistake here. 756. Yeah, 252 sigma 11n minus 691 over 252 sigma 5 of n, and then b of n. So you multiply 3 and you have 691 summation of sigma 5n. All right, now if you can see, then I am going to use even undergraduate we have thought about a very simple idea. If you observe b of n, it has a 691 as a prime factor. So if an has no 691 prime factor, then n cannot be equal to b, and therefore Lemma's conjecture. So how am I going to proceed? Right? So we will prove it for prime. Then once we prove the Lemma's conjecture for prime, then virtually we are home, right? Because the Ramanujan's tau functions are multiplicative. Using multiplicativeness, then for composite numbers, easy to prove. So the essence of the proof is once we prove for prime Ramanujan's conjecture for prime p, then virtually we are done. But so anyhow, what I'm going to proceed is what about prime to the power 1, then composite number. However, this part follows from the multiplicativeness of Ramanujan tau function. Okay, now. So what I'm going to, the idea is the following. So in this scheme, once I find one prime factor in here, which doesn't belong to here, then by unit factorization theorem, we are done. So that's what I'm going to do it. So to do it, first of all, I'm going to characterize the AP. So AP is a 65 over 252, sigma 11. So sigma 11 is 1 plus p to the 11, and the 691, 252 over 1 plus p. So if you add a constant term, then this guy is the same as 756, which divided by 252, that's a 3, plus 60. Oh, well, first of all, So you ask the question that the idea is when do we have a prime? So given prime, when AP has a prime factor 691 and when it doesn't. If AP has no prime factor 691, then we are done. And therefore, we wanted to know if you take the modulo 691, when is this guy say congruent to 0 modulo 691? Well, this guy is 252 is co-prime to 691, so that's gone. And this guy is co-prime, that's gone. Therefore, congruent to 0 if and only for 1 plus p to the 11 is congruent to 0 modulo 691. So therefore, that's the same as p to the 11's negative 1 modulo 691. And there's, remember 690 say 2, 3, 5, 23, and therefore 11 doesn't divide the 691. Therefore, it has a multiplicative inverse modulo 691, which indeed is 251. So if you multiply multiplicative inverse of 11, which is 251, congruent to minus 1. So which is the same as negative 1. So the characterization of AP congruent to 0 modulo 691 if and only if it is congruent to negative 1 modulo 691. So if you use a Dirichlet theorem, then P is generated by minus 1 times 691 times the integer. But since this guy said other number, so this guy should be an even number by Dirichlet theorem. So the P is generated by, you multiply, and there is a greater than. So for such prime, smallest ones are 1381, next ones are 25527, etc. There are infinitely many such ones. All right, now the question here is, if P is not generated by this form, then we are already done, right? Because this guy has 691, and if this guy is not congruent to 0 modulo P, namely they're not generated by this arithmetic sequence, then AP has no prime factor 691. This guy has, so by unique factorization theorem, we are done. So the only question here is, okay, if you have a P generated by this arithmetic sequence, then how do I know that the Q that prime divides the AP but doesn't divide the BP? All right. So that's so this is the first observation, and the second one. Now when we have to show is so first one and the second step. I have to show that AP has a prime factor such that Q greater than P. I have to show it. Alright, suppose we have shown it, and what am I going to do it? Well, I'm going to use a unique factorization theorem, okay? Keep using unique factorization theorem. So the idea is, okay, here I have a prime factor of AP, Q greater than P, and then that P does not divide BP. And therefore, by unique factorization theorem, we are done, right? We are done. So I have to show that there exists the prime factor of AP, which is greater than P. All right. So how am I going to show it? Well, the idea is very simple. Remember, we have AP is given by 3 plus 65 over 691. 252 P11 plus 691 over 252 over P. So I'm going to write down AP in the power in the basis of P, right? So this guy is less than 1, therefore I will write it P times 65, 252, and then you take the integral part, then P over T. And if you keep doing the same thing, then next one is 65 over 252, non-integral part times P to the 9 is that. So then the last one is going to be the 65 P times 65 over 250 P to the 5 over so this is non-integral part plus I have here P to the 5 691 over 252 over. So all these guys are integers, all right? AP is integers because BP is integer and the tau of P is an integer. And therefore, if you subtract this term from here, then this guy should be an integer and this guy should be less than P, an integer. So suppose AP has no prime factor greater than P, then we should have contradiction. So the contradiction we are going to prove is all right. If you write A over P to B, oh, by the way, A and B is the even number because P over P is if you replace the sigma phi over J there. So if you replace J by N minus J, then it's the same number. So AP and the BP is both a even number because tau is an even number. I mean, if you plug that P equal that number into equation, then this guy is even number, BP is an even number. So if you assume that each guy is less than P, for each guy, remember AP is AP from construction top there is less than 0.211 and greater than P to the. So we will do exactly the same the representation, namely that I will divide AP by P to the 10, so which is positive integer less than P because of this line. And then I will do use and then the other part, the non-integral part, okay? So then non-integral part, you multiply P and then AP over P to long. And so then next one, you're going to use this. So this guy, I can write it down as a BI over QI. And I equals 0 through 10. Then it's a contradiction. In each coefficient BI, it's a P times AP over P to the I plus 1 non-integral part. So this guy cannot be 0 for each I because we have assumed each QI is less than P, therefore if you divide this guy by P to the I for I equal 1 through 0, cannot be divisible by P to the I, therefore This guy is never 0, but that's a contradiction. Right? Here we have only p to the fifth power. Here we have 0 to so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's non-zero. Therefore, the bionic representation theorem is contradiction. Okay, now, what am I going to do? What is the idea? The idea is let me rewrite this one. So we have written B over P is equal to 691 summation over sigma j over P, sigma j over P minus sigma P, sigma 5 over J, and sigma 5 over P minus J, J is equal to 1. Now, the one we have shown that existence of effect of A over P greater than P, I'm going to play game with that from. How am I going to do it? Whether BP modulo choose 0 or not, you're going to take the modulo over each term for modulo Q, right? If you do modulo Q of each term, then when you are going to find this, all these guys are going to be 0 through 2 minus 1. Okay, now I'm going to count among them how many zeros, how many ones, how many twos, and etc. are there. That number I'm going to define, okay? So the motivation is there, right? So I'm going to define among them, you take a modulo 2 here, then the numbers are going to be 0 through 2 minus, and among them I'm going to count each guys how many of them are there, right? So that number I'm going to define by AIK, and whenever we do here j is equal to 1 through P minus 1. And then for each j, 691 over sigma 5j, sigma 5 over P minus j. And I'm going to take for each j, going to take modulo Q here, right? Then for this I, I'm going to multiply by I. Then you take modulo Q, these numbers here, so between 0 and 2 minus 1, all right? So if it is exactly modulo Q k, then I'm going to add 1. So in other words, this guy tells you, you multiply, I take modulo Q, then how many k's among them are there? That's AIK, okay? Now, once I have AIK, then what am I going to do? Well, again, what we are up to is the Q chosen here greater than P. That Q, the game plan is does not divide BP, all right? Namely that if you take modulo Q, then cannot be congruent to 0 modulo Q. That's what what we are up to, all right? Instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is with this guy attached with this guy constructed Q by Q matrix, then I'm going to attach a kind of additive group. I didn't show yet it's an additive group. But then for that purpose, the immediate property. This guy, if you replace j by p minus j, then it's the same value. So this number is an even number. Okay, that's clear from the construction. And the secondly, the pigeonhole principle tells us this guy summation of AIK k is equal to 1 through p q minus 1. I mean anything multiples of q we just throw away. then if you add them up, what do you get? Well, basically, you are counting numbers appearing here. The numbers appearing here is none other than pigeonhole principle tells us this guy should be the same as p minus 1 for each I. Okay, now, that's not what we are shooting for. What we are shooting for is how this guy and BP is related to what. It's easy to figure it out. If you multiply the BP and you take modulo Q, then that corresponds to when you take I, all right? Then that's we have A1K. And if you have A1K here, then you classified how many of them is takes 1, takes 2, etc. So if I K times A1K, then take a modulo Q. K equals 0 is irrelevant. So if I take a modulo Q, and this guy is exactly the same, all right? Okay, then, clear? All right, so once you realize this guy, then what are we up to is the following. So I'm going to construct the A1K, but then before that, actually the later on we will come back to this question, but anyhow, what about if I replace a 1 by k, but from construction here, all right, from construction here, if you replace for instance, if you replace, you multiply both I by I to the negative 1 because it's a co-prime to Q, then you can always do that, right? So this identity is immediate, AK, and if you replace this guy by 1, then you multiply I to the inverse times k modulo Q, so it's the same. And likewise, if you have 1k, then that's the same as A1, AI, or you multiply this by I and you multiply this by modulo. Okay, so that is immediate. Well, once we observe this guy, then another identity you can easily see is KIK, and the summation of A1K. So you can tie down this guy in terms of so if I take the k equal to minus 1, if I replace AIK by A1K, then you have the IK, right? So if you replace it and you take the modulo Q, then you have I times K, so which is the same as I times K. So you can relate so once I have this guy's not congruent to 0 modulo Q, then we are home, right? Once we observe this guy, so when we are up to is a summation K, AIK, K equals 0 through but the N. So you take a modulo Q for each bar, right? For each bar. And then you take I equals 0 through Q minus 1. Once I show that this guy is not congruent to 0 modulo Q, then what does that mean? So once I show this guy forms an additive group of order Q, then we are home. Once I show it, then that tells you slightly more than Neyman's conjecture, because if this guy is non-zero modular Q, that means this guy is non-zero modular Q. Therefore, Q doesn't divide BP, and therefore, by unit factorization theorem, AP is not equal to BP. Therefore, that is none other than